Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And I hadn't planned on shooting this video quite so soon. However, this should be a quick one. I wanted to focus just a little bit on this front little garden section here right at the front of our house. I've expanded it a couple of times over the past couple of years, so if you've been following me since I started my channel, I initially had expanded it out to right about where the edge of these potatoes are the year before, and then this year I expanded it out here, so this is all the new area. It just so happens that the potato line follows the old line. It was not planned that way. I mean, as far as I wasn't trying to follow the old line, that's just what I did. And I wanted you to see how things are going so far, because those potatoes back there are done. And I've already dug up there, you can see kind of a hole right there. I already dug up some potatoes out of there just to kind of check them out. Because they're just getting to that point where they're starting to fall over, and these were the first ones I planted, and they are, it has been 90 days, so they are ready. And then what I need to do is I need to get those out of there so that I can plant other things in that area, and that's why I wanted to shoot this video right now so you can see how it looks right now with the potato plants before I dig everything out, because it's going to look kind of barren. But what I've got going on way back here, you can't even see it, there's a, right in there is a rhubarb that I stuck in there, oh gosh, in the fall maybe it was, and so it's just not getting enough light because of potato plants. I may, I'll leave it there for the rest of this year, but I think I'm going to move that out to here in the fall, and then there you can see a couple of big garlics growing back there. But the chokeweed, part of the problem I'm having is that chokeweed just keeps getting weird, or it's also called bindweed or morning glory. It just keeps taking over more and more. Now it's beautiful, but it literally is choking some things out, like my stinging nettle, though I've been getting quite a bit of stinging nettle. It's the only reason why the stinging nettle is that short is because I just came out yesterday and cut a bunch more off of it, and there was some growing right out here where that hole is. That was one of the reasons I dug that potato up, because there was a stinging nettle, and it was tall, and I don't really want it out quite that far, so I dug that up. But you can see I've transplanted a few tomatoes out here. I'm giving this a try to see how well they may like it outside, because here tomatoes, at least for me, have always done best in the greenhouse, but I'm really trying to get the tomatoes to get to where I can get some that will grow well outside and produce for me, so that I can start getting more and more tomatoes instead of relying on just my small greenhouse space. Along here are tomatillos, because I ended up with so many tomatillo starts that I went ahead and planted more out here. I'll end up with more tomatillos than I know what to do with, but that's okay. I have friends that I like to share with, you know, and they like to share their goodies with me, and so we can just do a nice little barter there. My zucchini plants are coming along nicely out here. They seem to like it best here than out in the main garden bed, because these ones are far ahead of from the ones in the back. So I'm liking this, and this was my hope of expanding out here, was to put zucchini and hope that they did well. And if you look close, you can see I'm also trying some beets out here. I've got them in a couple different stages. Obviously this one's a little older, these are newer ones. I always tend to plant my beets a little too early, and then the weather gets really cold like it's been here. Even unnaturally cold for our area. That's why the strawberries are just kind of blah. But, and this is an ashwagandha that I started from seed this year, and so far it's looking really good. I'm hoping this time I can get the ashwagandha I'm planting to carry over into next year. Last year it grew well, but then it didn't make it through the winter. My golden oregano isn't spreading out as quickly as it normally would, but again, I'm thinking this could be because of the unseasonably cold weather that we're having. But the calendula out here, this is all started from seed that I saved from last year, and it's doing quite well, at least here. But then you get over here, you start moving this way, and things on this side, you notice the things right over in this section aren't near as big. Like that's a calendula right down there next to that little tiny strawberry. And same thing with the tomatillo plants. They're much smaller here But then you go over to this side right here. Well, and the reason for this is, you know, it's very clear. This gets the most sun of all because of our big cedar tree right here. This is going to be coming out maybe this fall. And then we're going to be putting some more fruit trees here in the front yard. So we've got our peach tree right here, and it's doing so-so, but I think it would be doing a lot better if A, the weather was warmer like it should be for this time of year, and B, if we got rid of the cedar tree so it could get light all day long instead of just half the day. I believe, and this is kind of weird, maybe somebody can tell me for sure, I believe this is a valerian. I don't recall planting a valerian right here. That's why I'm a little thrown off, and this one is so big compared to any other valerians I've planted, but the leaves look the same, but I could be wrong. So somebody let me know if that looks right to you. Otherwise, if it's just a common weed, I'm going to pull it up, but it sure looks a lot like the valerian that I've got planted in other places. Let's see, what else do I have out here that might be different? Oh, there's an echinacea, started from seed that I saved from last year's echinacea. That's one of the healthier looking ones I have. I have a couple more out here, but again, you go down this way and you see there's an echinacea. Doesn't look near as good as the other one, though I planted them out here at the same time. The same thing with that one. There's another one there. So this little section right here seems to be doing the best. But anyway, oh, and then there's feverfew. And I'll take you around here and show you what else. Right there is the lilac I got from a friend. And so I'm finally going to get some lilac. I planted it out farther away from the house in these other shrubs. But I thought this would be a good spot too because it would also help give the stinging nettle a little bit of shade. Because stinging nettle doesn't like too much sun. And now that the neighbor's trees are gone, it gets a little more sun. It's still doing really good, but... yeah, so one of the things we got to do is figure out how to eradicate the chokeweed though without eradicating everything else. Now this here is supposed to be a valerian. It's getting a little chewed up. Now we haven't dealt with the slug issue out front here yet, but once this next year we're going to get some more fencing, and you know, movable fencing, and get it set up so the chickens can roam through here in the fall and deal with the slug issue. And then, of course, here's a feverfew, looking quite good. And I'll show you how these tomatillos are looking. Just getting really big flowers on them. So this is just one of the healthiest looking plants I have. So again, started from seed. I guess I can walk you over here and show you what's happening over here. It's not super exciting. This area here gets mostly shade. It gets very little sun because of the cedar tree and because of the ash tree, which is right here. This one's going to be the toughest one to get rid of because my boys used to have a little fort in there. Anyway, so I've got peppermint growing all through here. I've got some marshmallow. I might eventually take the rhododendron out, but I think I'll leave the azalea and definitely the Japanese maple. I mean, even though these don't produce anything edible, there's some, the azalea and the rhodi stay green year round, and then the Japanese maple is just beautiful. Especially in the fall when the leaves turn bright red. But the oregano that I thought had died is coming back. Same thing with the catnip, though it's just struggling. Not really liking it here so much. But the sage, I talked about this in the video I did about sage, and I'll go ahead and link to that up there in the corner. This one was growing in the back garden and just doing so-so. I moved it here where it gets far less sun and it's happy here. In fact, the only reason it might look a little weird right now is because I cut a whole bunch back on it just the other day to dehydrate it up. But anyway, so that's what's happening here. This area here is definitely still a work in progress. I still haven't figured out what all I'm going to do. Oh yeah, a couple of the new additions is I transplanted a couple of my horseradishes from the other side where it's shading out my rosemary, and the rosemary has to stay where it's at because it does best there. But I'm hoping, I noticed that horseradish doesn't really like being transplanted, so it's taking a while. The original leaves will die, but these are new leaves coming in. And this is slugs. You can see the slime right there. So this is why we need to let our chickens roam around here this fall so they can take care of the slug problem. And there's another horseradish right there that I transplanted, and another one somewhere right there. So eventually, the one thing I like about the horseradish is it just gets the really big, beautiful leaves that can also be used for when you're pickling. It'll help keep your pickles and things crisp, just like you would do with your grape leaves. Okay, well, that's it for the front garden update. And next time you see it, all these potatoes will be dug up and I'll be planting something new in there. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.